What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we're here with a showcase video of the lads and obviously Smoothies there as well. So it's the squad. The sweet generals are here, and we're here with the official showcase. I did upload a video yesterday or the day before, utilizing them for some Garp challenges, which was cool. We built a team that beat both Garp and NL, and hopefully you guys check that video out because this unit's really cool, and you'll see how they get used in that particular piece of content. But in this content today, we're going to be using them in Colosseum. Using them in a raid boss, using them in ambush quest, just using them in just a couple of different things. And this unit's really cool. I think this unit's really fun, but there are obviously some gripes that I do have with the unit. But before we get into the official showcase, let's talk about the unit's abilities so you guys understand exactly what this character is capable of. So the sweet generals, or the sweet commanders, however you want to say it, this unit here is a strength powerhouse slasher unit, and obviously is a super type character. The captain effect is going to be a 4.25 times boost to strength units. All other characters still get a 3.75 boost, which is very nice. Also a 1.3 health boost, and also boosts strength characters' attack by about 5 times if you have killed an enemy in the previous turn, which does make a pretty big difference. And it's not that difficult to maintain that 5 times boost, but it just means obviously that, you know, if you don't kill something, you're not going to have your big boost, which does suck. But they have a really nice added piece of utility at the end of their captain effect that resists despair by 10 turns, which is very nice to have. You basically do not need a despair remover if you're bringing this character as your captain. However, remember that if your character gets binded and despaired at the same time, it will not remove the despair because the bind technically cancels out your captain effect, which is kind of annoying. Now remember, when you use this character as the captain, you get access to their super type special. Now in order to activate it, you do need basically one of any of the available Charlotte family characters. So I guess, you know, it is a little bit restrictive, so you need some of the better Charlotte characters in the game, which a lot of them are summonable units, but there are definitely a couple of really decent free-to-play ones. The more notable ones, I would say, though, is the new Perospero that just came out alongside the Sweet Commanders, as well as Strength Mont d'Or is another really good option, and also like Treasure Map Big Mom is a really good choice as well, or even like V2 Lin Lin, the dual unit is also a pretty good option too. And the super type special is one of the main gripes with this unit that I actually have. So it does 100 times their attack in non-type damage to all enemies, and it ignores all defensive effects and also base defense. It's actually pretty good, but it's not going to help this character, like, it's just in comparison to some of the other better units in the game. This super type special just is not on par with those types of super type specials, but it gives you the damage, and it gives you -1 cooldown as well to your strength units. You know, even like just increasing the cooldown to maybe 2 turns would have been a lot more viable as well. But this special ability is very strong, 14 turn cooldown. I believe when you limit break expand, they'll actually go down to 13 turns. But it gives you a 1.1 chain boost for 1 turn, it doubles your strength character's attack, and then also doubles your strength character's color affinity for 1 turn. It's a very strong special for your strength team, that's for sure. And even if you're not running a team that has type effect, you know, boosts, like even if you're against a character where you're not having type advantage, still having 2 times attack and a 1.1 chain boost on 1 special activation is very good. Plus, this character being a smoothie category and cracker unit, they have access to some pretty decent supports, I would say. If you are using them as a crewmate, they make their own quick dex and int slots matching, and also they completely avoid special bind, which is nice, so you can always launch their special. Very, very good, unless if obviously you get inflicted with fear. As for their potential abilities, 5 turns of slot bind removal, which is a little disappointing, I'll admit. 70% chance for a crit, which is also disappointing. And then their enrage is 300 additional attack and -5 turns of increased damage taken, which is also like doesn't matter too much. One thing to note though is they have a very good support attaching to Big Mom or Perospero, and anytime you're inflicted with special bind, you reduce the despair or the special bind by 2 turns whenever you get inflicted with it. So it's a pretty good support effect that will definitely see play. So I mean, this character, as I mentioned, you know, is a lot of fun, but I do not think they're like a top tier unit that, you know, like Luffy Sanji is, for example. But this unit is definitely a really fun unit to play with, as we're going to go ahead and showcase in the video today. So getting into the showcase video today, first of all, we have the Colosseum clip against Okiku. Now, in this particular content, we are going to be going ahead and using Luffy and Sanji as the friend captain here, just because, obviously, they're the most ideal unit for the content. Not saying that double Sweet Commanders can't beat it, because I'm pretty sure they will be able to beat it. But here we go. Anyways, with Luffy and Sanji, you know, they're just obviously a really nice unit to have alongside the Sweet Commanders, because obviously Sweet Commanders with their captain effect, they can boost strength, they can also boost all other types. So, you know, obviously with this concept, we are building a strength-based team, but even though, you know, stage 4 against Luffy is an int boss, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. We are still able to switch into Sanji, use his special, get his, you know, attack boost for our team, which is quite nice, and that'll give us really good damage against the int boss. And even though our captain, or our friend captain in this case, is going to be a side character in the final boss room, because we have so much damage coming from our team with strength-based damage, it's not really going to be that big of a problem at all. But talking about the Sweet Commanders, they are a very interesting unit, and I think I talked about it a little bit in my video against the Garp challenges using the Sweet Commanders. But one of the main problems that I found with using them is, like, there's two major issues. Number one is that their super type special is nowhere near as good as some of the other characters in the game. I mean, just looking on this team in particular, I'm using super type Luffy as a crewmate here. His special ability and his super type special, I think, are a little bit more useful for the crews that he tries to build for. But there are still some very good uses for the super type special of the Sweet Commanders. One thing that I did notice, you won't really notice it too much in Colosseums and that, but for raid bosses and like short form content, their super type special is very, very powerful, allowing you to get, you know, that massive damage that bypasses any defensive effect, and even base defense is just ridiculous. Being able to do that much damage to just completely wave clear like a majority of mob stages is fantastic. And, you know, typically when you do wave clear mob stages, you don't take any cooldowns. Like, you don't get any cooldown for that stage if you clear a stage with a special. End of turn damage will give you the cooldown still, but if you do notice, if you use a special that like kills an enemy or wave clears, you actually don't get cooldowns for that. But obviously when you launch their super type special, you do get cooldowns for that still, which is quite a good benefit. However, I do think there should have been some minor changes added to their super type special. You know, either the special should have given you some type of way to get slots, even just changing their own slot into matching would have been a pretty nice benefit as well. But I think that if the cooldown for their super type special was -2, I don't know if that would be considered quote-unquote broken, but I think that that would have been a little bit more fair. Because even though, you know, you use a special and a wave clears a stage, you know, you get -1 cooldown still. If it was still -2, I feel like that would be way, way better. But then again, it totally depends on, you know, the design team of the people, or just the dev team in general. Whoever designs these brand new Sugo-Fest characters, maybe it was their job to test it out. Maybe they found that -2 cooldown was too good, or maybe they found that, you know, if you just generate a full board of slots, plus you have all these other boosts on your team, maybe it's way too good. I have no idea. And then we have Roger, who just basically does everything. But either way, I don't know. I feel like the design team, when they were creating the Sweet Commanders, I don't know, maybe they're holding back or something. I don't know what it is, but there's just some things about this unit that I don't like, namely the super type special. But as I said, with changes, it can definitely be very, very good. Now, this next clip here is against Colosseum Katakuri, and this is actually a pretty awesome team that gets the job done. You may think it's a pretty obscure looking team, and it definitely is. I have not used that 20th anniversary Robin for a very long time, but we're actually able to proc her conditional boost, which is a defense down conditional boost on our team with the support of Flampe on the Sweet Generals, which is very good. Odin obviously for the Orb boost and the Wano slots. We have Montador for some special bind removal. We have obviously Shirahoshi Mancherry to remove the special limiter on the final stage of Colosseum Katakuri, so that's very, very important as well. But speaking more on the Sweet Commanders, I do wish that their super type special generated some matching slots, because none of their kit whatsoever, none of their captain, super type, or special will give you any slots at all. As a crewmate, they do generate slots for themselves. They make quick, dex, and int slots matching as a sub, which means that size slots are not counted as matching, or recovery or tandem. They are a powerhouse character though, so if you use like Zunisha's ship for example, you can make recovery and tandem matching. You can use Aura Jackson's ship with them because they're a slasher, and you can get recovery and tandem matching. So there are lots of ways to make their own slot matching, but just unfortunately for the rest of the team, it is a little bit more difficult. Luckily though, we have some very powerful strength units in the game that you can hybrid up with the Sweet Commanders. You could do like Bullet for example, who is a really strong character that can generate some slots for you. In my Garp challenge video, I used V3 Akainu, which is a very good unit for generating slots too, with his amazing captain effect, and also a unit that you can use to get a really good conditional boost too. Or you could use someone like even Super Type Snake Man as well. Super Type Snake Man with his special, generating you a full board of slots, has an orb boosting special, so actually works very well in tandem with the Sweet Generals. So Sweet Generals give you chain boost, attack boost, and color affinity, and then if you just add Snake Man for the full board of slots and the 2.5 orb boost, I mean, that's already really amazing in and of itself. You could run Super Type Sabo, for example. Sabo is a color affinity booster, which isn't actually too great, but Sweet Commanders are a chain booster, as well as providing all of their boosts as well. So you could have a chain boost with the Sweet Commanders, which is actually better than Sabo's chain boost. Then you've got the chain multiplicator with the Super Type Sabo Super Type special, so that's actually really good too. Or you could run something like Kozuki Odin, because Odin giving you a massive orb boost, a 2.5 orb boost for multiple turns. And if you have some other way to generate some slots for your team, you can be in a situation like you see in this clip, where we have Wano slots, which increase our damage output even further than what it would already be, which is great. You can actually generate some crazy damage output with Mono Strength right now, even against quick enemies, or yeah, just anything, like even without type advantage, you can just deal some crazy damage right now. If you want a really good conditional boost, you got Mihawk and Perona as well. That's actually a pretty solid option, especially if there's multiple enemies on the stage, which can guarantee you that conditional boost. So like, there's a lot of options for Strength right now. Strength, I definitely think, is one of the best colors in the game. And I mean, a little bit further down the line, whenever there it comes out, you know, Kaido versus Big Mom, Kaido side of that unit is a strength unit as well, which is actually great. So you can actually partner them with Kaido too. So there's lots of really cool things for strength going on right now. So I do think that this unit may not see much play moving forward, but I do honestly think that this is definitely one of the more fun units to use in the game. And if you have an opportunity or some sort of way to generate slots for your team, this is going to be a very solid unit, especially for just clearing content as fast as you can. Their cooldown naturally is actually a little bit high though. You know, 14 turns is a little on the high end of things. So if you are, you know, if you're in a situation where you can generate slots for your teams and also, you know, get your cooldowns up really quickly, I think this would be a really good option, because you have two super type specials that you can use to wave clear enemies, which is nice. And another thing as well is that this super type special is just a phenomenal option for any type of situation where you get special reversed. And that actually happened a couple of times in this video that you're going to see. You know, we get special reversed, which is actually quite a detriment to your team normally. But, you know, you can just use their super type special and minus the cooldowns of your strength unit. So it's quite good. I like that, you know, kind of sense of things, but just in terms of damage output, increasing your damage potential, it doesn't really do that. And we see that a lot of the better units in the game that are super type units typically have super type specials that increase your damage potential, and this is not one of the units that does that. You know, you see some of the better super type units in the game, like Snake Man, for example, Roger generating slots that last for multiple turns, and Roger just himself, even without his super type special, is just great. You know, you got the super type Boa, who generates you the full board of slots and an attack boost for your team. You've got the German units who will lock your slots when you use their special. They already give you a full board of slots anyway, and they give you a chain multiplicator boost. You know, just a lot of the times, just a lot of the better super type units in the game have super type specials that increase your damage potential, and this unit doesn't have that. So just wanted to draw, you know, examples and comparisons between this unit and some of the other super types that we do see. And that's why I do think Kozuki Odin, while he is very good, I don't really know like how he's going to fare in the future and how often is this character actually going to be used. I know that you can definitely shoehorn him into teams and, you know, try and build teams him around content, but is he always like the optimal choice for content? I don't really think he is, and I don't think the Sweet Commanders fall into that place either. Whereas like Roger, for example, you can basically build whatever you want with him and he's going to work like 99% of the time, because, you know, just a unit by himself that can generate full board of slots, massive attack boost, great captain effect. He also removes Despair with his captain effect as well, which is something that I haven't even touched up on either. The Despair removal with their captain effect is also ridiculously useful, because you already have to build your team around one of the Charlotte family characters, right? Because, you know, you have to have one of those units to proc his super type special. So that's already quite a detriment to your team building, because there aren't that many good Charlotte family characters compared to the super type activation requirements of Germa, for example, or some of the other really powerful units in the game. I mean, Roger's kind of the outlier, because, I mean, there are still like really good units, right? With Roger, for example, right? You got like Some of the Whitebeards are okay. I mean, World Cruise Whitebeard's really good, but you got Kozuki Odin, which works well with him, as well as like some of the Rayleigh units are really good too, and then obviously we got Shank's crew, right? So, you know, Roger has a couple of really good units to choose from. Sweet Commanders though, you know, you got like Treasure Map Big Mom, potentially version 1 Big Mom, or version 2 Big Mom, for example. The new Perospero is a great option. You've also got like Charlotte Montdor is really good. You could potentially use Rare Recruit Opera as well. He's a Psy unit, but still has a really good special ability. So, you know, there are a couple of options. Just depends on what you want to do and depending on what type of content you're going up against. But the fact that you are kind of shoehorned into having to use a Charlotte family member on your team to launch their super type special really, really does suck, because a lot of them aren't super great. So hopefully we get an update soon where we get some better Charlotte family characters, because it kind of just sucks having to rely on some of these other units that, you know, don't have amazing utility specials, or they're just not as good as some of the characters that release within 2021, for example. But yeah, that is a little bit of a detriment to team building, but luckily they do remove Despair with their captain effect, which does free up some space in certain pieces of content. You don't have to bring a unit specifically to get around Despair, which is very, very good. But another really good thing about Sweet Commanders is they have access to some pretty decent supports, right? They got access to the new Rare Recruit Perospero, which you see as a crewmate on this team here. You can use them as a support on the Sweet Generals, which remove 2 turns of increased defense and damage threshold whenever the enemy puts it up. So that's a really good effect to have. You've also got access to the support Rare Recruit Brûlé, who I recently just pulled, and I've got to say, man, that unit is exceptional. The fact that you can just generate a full board of slots if you get given block orbs with the preemptive is great, reducing cooldown, giving you healing, and that Brûlé attaches to a lot of really good units like Luffy, Nami, Carrot, Chopper, Katakuri. Really, really good support unit. I'm so happy to have that unit now. And then also you've got the Flampe, which I may have touched up on before, but that Flampe makes perfects easier to hit, which means that you're more likely to get your higher chain boost when you launch the special. And it also reduces defense, so you can run a defense down conditional booster alongside them to just get you extra damage, which is pretty good. But yeah, Sweet Commanders are a pretty fun unit to use, and I do have to say they've been one of the more fun Sugo Fest exclusives that I've seen over the past, you know, couple of months or so. You know, when we got into the super type meta, right, we had Snake Man, who was obviously really good. I'm a big fan of the int ones with Katakuri and Blackbeard. But then we moved on to the Dex ones. The Dex ones weren't super fun. The quick ones, like obviously we had Smoker. I don't think Smoker is a good character at all. Sugar is still pretty strong, but I'm not a big fan of using her. I actually prefer using Sugar as a crewmate, if anything. But then we got Boa. Boa's obviously really good. And then we move into the Halloween units, who are also very good. And I do think the Sweet Commanders are really good. I don't know how often I'm going to use them, but if I get an opportunity to use them, then I'm definitely going to give it a shot, because they're a bunch of fun to use. But that is going to wrap up this video today. We're up right now against Garp and Sengoku Clash, but after this we go up against Ambush Lin, which is pretty dope, so hopefully you stick around for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
させてくれる。